Breaking right now in the investigation into Saturday's terror bombing. Just moments ago, the FBI revealed that 25-year-old Guy Edward Barkis had access to a large quantity of commercially available chemical products. In a statement, the Bureau says he had products which could be combined to create a homemade explosive device. Stay with News Channel 3 on air and online at KESQ.com for any new developments on the Palm Springs terror attack. Meanwhile, the FBI is also sharing more details on the bombing and the suspect. I spoke with the assistant director in charge of the Los Angeles field office, Akil Davis. All right, Akil, first off, what is the latest with the investigation?
So we are wrapping up the scene up in 29 Palms. We'll still be out there for just a little bit. And also we're wrapping up some things there in Palm Springs proper. As you know, and has been seen on the media, the building is heavily damaged, and that's kind of preventing us from continuing some of our search efforts, but they are slowly ongoing.
What can you tell us about the suspect and whether or not the FBI may have had prior contact with him?
Yeah, so Guy Barkis, he's the main suspect in this case. Believed in an anti-natalist philosophy that all life should not exist. He was kind of a loner up there in the desert in the 29 Palms area. No prior military, and largely was not on the FBI's radar.
So you had never contacted him before?
That's correct. That's correct.
And what can you tell us about the explosives that were found on his property?
So, the investigation's ongoing, and we have found evidence in support of our investigation. But as far as the details of what was found there at the scene, we're going to keep close hold in order to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Now, there are reports circulating, I'm sure you're aware, that authorities found huge quantities of highly explosive materials, including what appears to be what's called PETN, a devastating compound used in terror attacks around the world. What can you say about that?
I'm just not going to confirm that at this point. Some tests and things need to be done on some of the evidence in support of the investigation. I just probably leave it there at this point.
Anything you can say about how he obtained these explosives?
Not quite yet. Not quite yet, but we will be releasing all of that shortly.
When I recently interviewed Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills, one of the things he talked about was concerns that there were other people out there who he had been in contact with on social media, on YouTube, on his website. What can you tell us about that?
I would just like the public to know this, that if there's one thing the FBI does well, we do a lot of things well, but one thing, that we stake our claim on is detailed investigations. And so no stone will be left unturned. Like, we will continue this investigation as long as necessary to ensure that the public is safe and there are no additional suspects. So all I can really say on that is the investigation's ongoing.
If there are people out there who were aware that he was going to carry out this attack, could they face charges?
It's possible. That is possible, and those are conversations that I've had with the United States Attorney Bill Lassaley regarding that.
I think a lot of people, myself included, had never heard of this movement before that he was a part of. Are there other people involved in this movement? Are there chat rooms about this movement? What can you tell us about this?
There are discussions online about this movement, but many movements like it. So there's, the nihilist movement and the anti-natalist movement are very similar. They are splitting hairs on the verbiage, but there is discussion online regarding this movement now.
25 years old, and clearly he was smart enough, regardless of his mental health, he was smart enough to know how to make something very powerful that could blow up. How concerning is it to you that there are people out there who can learn how to make bombs like this?
It's very concerning. In this instance, one thing that keeps the FBI up at night is the lone wolf terrorist. That is the hardest one to track, the hardest one to find, especially when they teach themselves how to do something as dangerous as this. So this is probably one of the most scary things that's out there facing our country. It's one of the biggest threats that keeps the FBI up at night domestically.
Absolutely. And I have to ask, are you concerned that there could be copycats or others like him out there?
That is definitely a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. The FBI has the resources and subject matter expertise to hopefully mitigate those threats and through our investigations and things that we have kind of out there at our disposal. But we are concerned, and it's something that we kind of keep a steady beat on.
Yeah, but at this point, no immediate concern for the Palm Springs region.
That is correct. Let me be clear that there is no continuing or ongoing threat to the community in Palm Springs, no continuing or immediate threat to the community in 29 Palms.
Anything else, sir, you would like to say about the investigation or the suspect or the explosives for folks out there?
No, sir, nothing additional. Just one thing I would really like to do is just thank the community for their support and their patience, because we've been out there for a long time. And I would also like to thank yourself and just members of the media for just being patient with us. I know that it's frustrating because I can't answer a lot of the questions all the time, but know that our partnership has been fantastic.
I know it's hard to put a timeline on something like this, but any idea perhaps when we might be able to get more information?
It's going to be months down the road. Some detailed, high level, like really detailed tests need to be run on some of the evidence we're covering. There's terabytes of data, video data that we need to comb through. So it's going to be a lengthy process going forward.
All right, Akil, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good night.